As well as being the 7th President of the United States from 1829 to 1837, Andrew Jackson was the military governor of Florida, and commander of the American forces at the Battle of New Orleans against the British in 1815. His presidency was during an era of what is known as Jacksonian democracy, highlighting Jackson's dominance in American politics during the 1820s and 1830s. Shaping the current, modern-day Democratic Party of the United States, he was nicknamed Old Hickory and known for being a tough, determined rival of entrenched banking interests. He became a fearless individual to many who opposed the bailout of the financial system. The Panic of 1819. The Panic of 1819 was the first major peacetime financial crisis in the United States. A general collapse of the United States economy soon followed and continued on until 1821. This was blamed on the Second Bank of the United States, which was a private corporation carrying out public duties, which included the regulation of public credit issued by private banking institutions, handle fiscal transactions for the U.S. government and ensure a stable national currency. The Second Bank of the United States was heavily involved in the excessive speculation of public lands, which was fueled by their unrestrained issue of paper money. When the bank then attempted to curtail its loans in its western branches in 1818, the state-chartered banks began foreclosing on the heavily mortgaged farms and business properties, which they had financed after they failed to provide a metallic currency when presented with their own fiat banknotes. Widespread bankruptcies and mass unemployment soon followed, provoking popular resentment against banking and business. This led to many Americans believing that federal government economic policy was fundamentally flawed, becoming politically engaged. I will kill it. Andrew Jackson was inaugurated as the 7th President of the United States in 1829 on anti-banking policies, and a promise to remove the authority of the Second Bank of the United States. By 1832, the bank wars were in full swing with various threats made between Andrew Jackson's administration, the Second Bank of the United States and banking interests who were led by pro-bank national Republicans under Henry Clay. At the center of the bank wars was the renewal of the charter which provided the Second Bank of the United States with its central banking functions, and their threat to Andrew Jackson on his presidency if he did not renew it. With this in mind, he is quoted as saying to Martin Van Buren, "The bank, Mr. Van Buren, is trying to kill me, but I will kill it." Jackson mobilized his political base by vetoing the Recharter Bill, which was sustained and continued on to win re-election on his anti-banking policies. Starting in 1833, revenue and deposits of the federal government were gradually placed into selected private banks by executive order, thus ending the power and regulatory role of the Second Bank of the United States. This made the bank insolvent, and in hopes of extorting a bank rescue, Nicholas Biddle started a short-lived financial crisis which he intended to blame on Jackson's executive action. However, by 1834, there was an awareness in the public of his actions which led to an eventual backlash against Biddle's tactics. This led to all recharter efforts being abandoned, resulting in the bank eventually being liquidated in 1841. On reflection of his promises to remove the authority and power of the Second Bank of the United States, he is quoted as saying to Congress in 1836, "Gentlemen, I have had men watching you for a long time, and I am convinced that you have used the funds of the bank to speculate in the breadstuffs of the country. When you won, you divided the profits amongst you, and when you lost, you charged it to the bank. You tell me that if I take the deposits from the bank and annul its charter, I shall ruin 10,000 families. That may be true, gentlemen, but that is your sin. Should I let you go on, you will ruin 50,000 families, and that would be my sin. You are a den of vipers and thieves." Andrew Jackson had secured a free market, hard money policy in the United States and its success for another century, until the Federal Reserve Act was passed through Congress on December 23, 1913.